What if synchronicities aren't magic, but your attention working like a radio quietly tuning to the frequency of what matters? In the next minutes, I'll give you a simple checklist to amplify meaningful coincidences in just 24 hours. No grand promises, just a clear intention, cleaner signal, and small moves that change what you notice and how you act. By the end, you'll know exactly how to set your question, spot the right patterns, and take one aligned step when a nudge appears. Ready to tune in? Imagine your attention as a classic FM dial. When you're between stations, everything sounds like static. But when you nudge the dial a little, a song snaps into clarity. What if synchronicity is simply the moment the song gets clear? Here's our first shift. Synchronicities aren't prizes handed out by the universe. They're alignments between what you ask, how you feel, and what you're willing to notice. Sounds less mystical? Good. It's also far more usable. For the next 24 hours, we're going to build a container, a clear beginning and end, so your brain knows this matters. Why 24 hours? Because short windows calm perfectionism, reduce decision fatigue, and spark playful experimentation. If this works once, you'll repeat it. If it doesn't, you'll tweak it tomorrow. Low risk, high learning. Start with a question, not a demand. Demands trigger tension. Questions invite curiosity. Try this frame. What is one small, low-risk step that moves me toward your desire today? Keep it small and observable. How can I find my next aligned client? What is the easiest way to reconnect with creative flow? Where is the simplest door into this opportunity? Now, let's give your nervous system a cue that something new is starting. Mini practice approximately equals 40 seconds. Inhale gently for 4, hold 4, exhale 4, hold 4 twice. Whisper your question once at the top of the inhale. On the exhale, imagine turning a tiny dial from static toward a clear note. Feel that click? That's you. Pairing intention with physiology. Next, choose 3 categories of markers you'll watch for your personal station IDs. Pick from numbers like 1111 or a repeating total, names, a person, city or company, symbols, birds, keys, doors, bridges, colors, a sudden run of ultramarine, for example, or phrases, a specific verb you rarely hear. Why 3? 1 is too narrow, 5 is noisy. 3 keeps you open without drowning in data. Set gentle boundaries. For 24 hours, no doom scrolling, no multi-screening, and no asking for a cosmic billboard. You're not trying to force a miracle. You're letting signal rise above noise. Ask yourself, if something subtle nudges me, will I be able to hear it? If the answer is no, simplify. Define success criteria up front. In this container, success is 1. I asked a clear question. 2. I noticed at least 2 relevant markers. 3. I took 1 tiny step aligned with a nudge. That's it. No need to land a dream job by sunset. We're building a muscle, not hunting trophies. A quick note on brain mechanics, light and useful. Your reticular activating system acts like a doorman for attention. When you set a question, you hand that doorman a guest list. The world doesn't change, your filter does. Ever learn a new word and then hear it everywhere? Same principle. We're using it on purpose. Create a start ritual that you can repeat. Write your question on a sticky note, place it by your water glass, and take 1 deliberate sip. Mark the time. Say, for the next 24 hours, I'm tuned to this. Then, put the sticky in your pocket. Tactile anchors beat vague hopes. Finally, choose a simple tracking method you'll actually use. Notes app, paper index card, or voice memo. 3 columns: time, place, what appeared, possible move. A pattern is coming when two or more markers repeat or cluster around the same idea. When it happens, don't overthink. Name one tiny action you could take in 5 minutes or less. Before we roll into clearing the static, a soft invitation. Drop a single word for your 24-hour intention in the comments. Clarity, client, courage. Naming it publicly makes it real, and you might inspire someone else's signal to click in. Ready to remove interference? Let's clear the static so your dial can lock onto the song. You don't need a monastery, just fewer frictions than yesterday. Think of it like cleaning a windshield. The road was always there. Now you can see it dot start with a 90-second noise audit. Look around. What's pinging, blinking, cluttering? Name 3 sources out loud. Notifications, messy desk, 8 open tabs. Why say it? Because labels shrink monsters. What would feel 10% quieter right now? Now do a 10-minute micro-declutter. Set a timer. Toss or file anything you can decide. In under 30 seconds. Wipe the surface where your phone usually lives. That little reset cues, fresh start. Put your intention sticky from Chapter 1, where your eyes land naturally left of keyboard, not buried. When the timer ends, stop. The win is momentum, not perfection. Next, tame the digital sirens. Switch your phone to Do Not Disturb with a whitelist of 2 humans. If it's truly urgent, they'll reach you. Move social apps to a folder named Later. Out of sight reduces reflex taps. Use a single tab rule during your checkpoints. One browser tab open, nothing else. Could you try this for just 20 minutes twice today? Create a 24-hour offline intentional window. Pick 2 slots of 15 to 25 minutes. Airplane mode on. 1 slot for noticing, walk, look out a window, jot patterns. 1 slot for doing a tiny, aligned action. This isn't ascetic, it's a laboratory. If the world matters, it can wait half an episode of a sitcom, right? Give your nervous system micro resets that amplify signal reception. Water. 1 tall glass every time you check. Your notes. Hydration lifts attention like turning up brightness. Light. 2 minutes of daylight on your eyes, even from a balcony. Natural light is a tuning fork for your brain clock. Posture. Shoulders back, jaw unclenched, feet grounded. Ask, if a nudge arrived, could it find me ready? Subtle posture shifts change how quickly you act. Add a ritual to open and close the day. Opening 30 seconds. Touch your sticky note. Read your question once. And breathe that box breath. 4, 4, 4, 4. Closing 60 seconds. List 3 moments when you felt a tiny pull, whether you acted or not. Gratitude for noticing keeps the channel. Friendly. What if thank you is the oil that keeps the dial smooth? Guard against 2 common traps. Trap 1. If it's important, you'll shout. In reality, useful signals arrive politely. Design your day so whispers can be heard. Trap 2. I'll wait until everything's quiet. Life won't cooperate. Aim for quieter, not quiet. Set environmental anchors that talk to you without words. Choose a scent, citrus, cedar, that you only use during this 24-hour container scent locks memory. Wear a specific ring bracelet only today. Every glance says, I'm tuned. Place a small object, key, feather, coin near your exit. It's your reminder to notice on the move. Finally, choose 2 nudge-friendly routes you'll take today. The slightly longer path past the bulletin board, or the aisle with the books you never browse. Safe micro-deviations increase collisions. With the unexpected, could one tiny detour change what you see? By now, the hiss is lower. Your space is lighter, your tech quieter, your body primed. Keep your notes card handy time. Place what appeared, possible move. When a pattern repeats, we'll be ready to shape it with sharper questions. If attention is a radio, your question is the tuning fork that sets the pitch. When the question is muddy, you hear mud. When it's crisp, patterns line up like magnets. So for the next 24 hours, we're not begging for miracles. We're tuning the instrument. Ask one question that is open enough to let life answer in many forms, specific enough that your brain knows what counts, and testable enough that, by tonight, you'll know whether something useful moved. Say it softly to yourself. What is the smallest next step that moves me toward X today? Make it real. Email one past client with a clean invitation. Write 3 messy lines before coffee. Choose a time for that conversation. Feel how this question points you somewhere without clenching. Now add a kind constraint. Within 20 minutes and $0, where is the easiest door into X? Constraints don't shrink possibility. They sharpen your filter. Your mind starts scanning for free tutorials, a friend's name you haven't thought of, a meat flyer you always walk past. And because answers wear shoes, ask the ally version. Who is already moving in this direction? And where might I cross paths naturally? Today? Suddenly the elevator chat, the comment thread, the 6 p.m. gym slot all hum with relevance. Notice what we're not doing. We're not demanding, make this company hire me now. Tight fists crush signal. Instead, we ask, what's the simplest way to show my value to someone at that company this week? We're not trapping ourselves in a yes-no coin flip. Should I quit? We're asking, what evidence would make staying or going obviously better in the next 7 days? Good questions leave room for error. They invite coordinates, not ultimatums. Give your question edges you can feel. Time, scope, a sensory check. If you can't picture how a yes might look, sound, or feel by tonight, tighten it. Could a stranger understand what you're asking? If not, simplify. Then tie your question to 3 markers from your 24-hour container, your station IDs. Choose a number, a name or role, and a symbol that naturally relate. Maybe it's the name Alex, the number 3, and the symbol bridge. You're not summoning magic. You're training your filter to catch threads you'd normally miss. When you hear Alex, glance at a table 3 or see a bridge on a poster. You won't panic, you'll lean in. Do a tiny practice with me. Write your question at the top of a note. Under it, write your 3 markers. Read them once out loud. Now ask, what would a tiny yes look like by tonight? Name one behavior you control. Send the message. Open the dock. Walk the longer hallway where the bulletin board lives. Close your eyes for 1 breath and imagine the dial clicking from static to song. As you move through the day, you'll meet hints. Treat them with a simple triad: context, timing, felt sense. Did the cue appear in the arena of your question? Did it cluster with other cues or with a planned checkpoint? And how does it land in your body? A calm pull or a jittery spike? If 2 out of 3 lean yes, you're holding a live thread. Don't worship it, work it. Take a 90-second step that keeps the thread moving. Reply, peek. Turn left instead of autopilot right. Guard the edges against 2 traps. First, overfitting, seeing a sign in every coffee cup. Hold a rule of thumb. No action unless a marker repeats or aligns with a move you are already willing to make. Second, outsourcing agency, waiting for a perfect omen that never arrives. Synchronicity accelerates outcomes only when paired with behavior you own. By tonight, your question should feel like a clear chime under the day's noise. Conversations tilt toward it. Emails rhyme with it. Street posters seem to wink. Keep the same question tomorrow, or iterate by 10% sharper, kinder, more doable. The dial is set. Next, we'll choreograph timing so you collide with opportunity more often without forcing a thing. If your question is a tuning fork, your body is the metronome. When the metronome is steady, synchronicities don't have to shout. They can arrive on the beat. So today, we choreograph time, not like a drill sergeant, but like a jazz trio. Tight. Rhythm, playful solos. Room for surprise, think in windows, not hours. Your energy moves in natural waves, roughly 60 to 90 minutes of focus, and a dip. We'll surf the wave instead of fighting it. Choose 3 focus arcs for the day morning, midday, late afternoon. Each arc has a 2-minute checkpoint at the top and the midpoint. That's it. 8 minutes total to tune the day at the top of arc. Ritual 2 minutes. Stand, roll your shoulders, sip water, and read your question once. Look at your 3 markers. Ask, what would a tiny yes look like before this arc ends? Pick 1 micro-step you control. The clock starts. Midway, when the first dip hits, do the midpoint reset. 2 minutes. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 6. Twice. Scan for anything that matched a marker in the last block: names, numbers, symbols, colors, phrases. If something nudged you, give it 1 measurable inch. Save the post, star the email, draft the first sentence. Check the bulletin board. No heroics, just momentum. Between arcs, we add nudge windows, small doors the day can walk through. 3. Of them. Transit nudge. Walking. Headphones off for 5 minutes. Let ambient words, posters, overheard names play against your question. Doorway nudge. Thresholds. Every time you cross a doorway, home, office, shop, touch the frame lightly and ask, anything here for my question? 1 scan. No hunting. Light nudge. Sunlight. 2 minutes by a window or outdoors. Light resets mood. Mood changes what you notice. Now the practice that changes everything. Walk the nudge. When you feel that quiet, pull, turn left, open that book, send that message, apply the safety triangle. Safe, legal, respectful. If yes to all 3, take. A micro deviation under 3 minutes. If it stretches longer, set a boundary. 3 minutes now, then I return to plan. You honor both structure and serendipity. Which one do you tend to ignore? Give your day a rhythmic skeleton you can actually keep. Morning arc, top of arc ritual, 1 tiny outreach or setup task. Midday arc, midpoint reset. A 5-minute walk the nudge if something clustered. Late afternoon arc, top of arc. Ritual, 1 decision you've been postponing, chosen by coin flip if needed. Indecision is static. Evening cool down, 5 minutes. Sit somewhere different from your work spot. Write 3 bullet points. What appeared, what moved, what you'll feel. Test tomorrow. Add anchor habits that act like tempo clicks. Water before screens. A single stretch every time you sit. Phone face down during arcs. Not perfect, just repeatable. Repetition makes timing predictable, and predictable timing makes coincidences easier to meet. 2 pitfalls to dodge. First, forcing timing. Waiting. For 11:11 to act. Cute when it happens. Unnecessary when it doesn't. Your action is the conductor. Numbers are backup singers. Second, ignoring the dip. Pushing through the slump with junk attention. Instead, step away for 2 minutes and return sharper, like wiping the lens. Before you sleep, close the loop lightly. Ask, where did timing help today? Maybe the elevator arrived with the person you needed because you left 30 seconds later to fill your water. Call that a win. Gratitude softens the next door open. Your metronome is set. Tomorrow, we refine your literacy for reading. The patterns that walk through those doors. Think of the world today as a crowded cafe. Cups clink, doors swing, music hums. Not every sound is your name being called. Pattern literacy is learning which voice at the counter is actually yours and which is just the espresso machine. Start with a simple map. Noise, coincidence, synchronicity. Noise is random chatter, interesting, maybe pretty, not actionable. Coincidence is neat overlap same song twice. Matching outfits fun, but unmoored. Synchronicity is useful alignment. A cue that meaningfully intersects your question and opens a next step you can take now. How do you tell? By running 4 lenses: repetition, relevance, timing, and felt sense. Repetition asks, did this motif echo? 1 swallow doesn't make a summer. 2 or 3 swallows circling your exact question. Now we lean in. Relevance asks, is this connected to the arena I named? If your question is about work and you keep spotting the word mentor, that's closer than seeing 7 rainbows. Timing asks, did it cluster around my checkpoints or right after a nudge window? A cue that arrives on the beat carries more weight than a random midnight scroll. And felt sense, maybe the most honest lens, asks, do I feel a calm? Grounded yes or a jittery spike? Quiet curiosity beats adrenaline every time. But won't confirmation bias make everything look like a sign? Only if you let it. Borrow a scientist's pocket rule. No action on a single cue. Action triggers when A, a marker repeats, or B, a cue aligns with a move you are already willing to make. This keeps you playful and sane. You're not hunting omens. You're collaborating with patterns. Let's practice with a micro A-B test of meaning. Name 2 micro options that serve your question option A. Send a 2-sentence message to Alex. Option B. Skim the volunteer board for 3 minutes. Now, for 10 minutes, you'll open 1 door at a time. When you try A, notice friction versus flow. Do you immediately find Alex's contact, or do 3 unrelated tabs explode? When you try B, do you instantly see a posting that matches your skill set, or do you end up doom scrolling? You're not reading destiny. You're reading friction patterns. Lower friction paired with 1 or 2 markers equals higher signal. Which door felt like the room wanted you inside? Catalog cues in your 3-column tracker: time, place, what appeared. Possible move. After 2 or 3 entries, step back and ask, what's the shortest sentence that describes the pattern? Maybe, Bridges +3 plus Alex keeps repeating near co-working. A short sentence is a sharp compass. Beware 2 illusions. The spotlight illusion, the thing you want so badly that you see it everywhere. Corrective. Name an anti-marker 1 symbol. You agree to ignore today, no matter how shiny. The meteor illusion. Waiting for 1 giant sign to solve everything. Corrective. Treat signals as breadcrumbs, not meteors. You don't eat a meteor. You follow breadcrumbs. When in doubt, ask the 2 degrees question. If I shift 2 degrees toward this cue, what would I do in 5 minutes or less? 2 degrees is a nudge, not a detour. Send the ping. Step into the bookstore. Check table 3. If nothing opens, you haven't failed. You've sampled the band and returned to the rhythm. Remember, pattern literacy is kind skepticism. You neither worship nor dismiss. You test. Keep your posture soft, breath steady, phone face down during arcs. The goal isn't to feel special. It's to be available. Available to the right names, the right doors, the right moment when the elevator opens and someone says, hey, aren't you the person who? By tonight, you'll have a handful of data points and 1 or 2 threads that clearly tug. In the next chapter, we'll do the brave part. Move when nudged, even when the step is small and the outcome unknown. That's where synchronicity stops being pretty and starts becoming progress. Ready to step? It never arrives with a drum roll. It's smaller than that, like a tap on the shoulder inside your chest. You're halfway through the day when it happens. A name floats up. A street pulls your eyes left. A sentence forms in your mouth before you've decided to speak. Don't wait for proof. Name it softly. There's a nudge too. And fill the blank. Hearing your own voice shrinks the fog. You glance around the moment like a careful driver at an intersection. Is it safe? Is it legal? Is it respectful? 3. Quiet yeses, and the light turns green. Feel the quality of the pull steady, not frantic. If your breath stays even, that's your permission slip. You don't need to sprint. You just need to shift 2 degrees and step. Keep it human-sized. Give the nudge a tiny container. 3 minutes now, then I return to plan. Open the document and let one imperfect sentence land. Tap the message field and type the first line. You already hear. Turn left for a single aisle you never walk. When you give a nudge a doorway that's small, it stops knocking and comes in. At lunch, the test appears. You're queuing for coffee when someone says brand refresh, and your gaze lands on table 3, one of your markers. Your phone lights up. Alex, another marker, has sent a quick hello. It's almost funny how politely the world lines up when you're listening. You breathe, not to make it mystical, just to confirm you're steady. Then you answer like a person who values both time and tone. 2 sentences, specific and light. Saw your note. If helpful, I can sketch 3 headline options tonight. And send them your way? Want me to do that? You drop a 15-minute block on your calendar and slip back into your afternoon rhythm. No begging, no cosmic bargaining. Just one clean hinge that opens a door. Later, a different tug. You've been circling the idea of reconnecting. Twice today, the symbol bridge showed up, and now a song you once shared slides into the room like a familiar light. You feel that calm, yes. You don't write a novel. You send a soft, truthful line. Our song popped up and made me smile. Open to a quick catch-up this week? You've honored the thread without handing it your self-worth. If they decline, your dignity stays put. If they accept, you step across the bridge you noticed. 2 shadows try to steal momentum. One is the trumpet fantasy, waiting for a perfect sign in neon. Perfection is static in a sequin dress. It looks busy, goes nowhere. The other is the hands-off myth, outsourcing your agency to fate. Signals accelerate only when paired with verbs you control. Send, check, draft, schedule. No verb, no movement. And yes, sometimes a door you test won't. Open. Good. Now you know which hallway is just a mural. Jot it down time, place, what you tried, what didn't move. Not as a failure, as an update to your map. Tomorrow you'll angle the question 2 degrees and try a different handle. Do this with me now, quickly. Close your eyes for 1 breath. Recall the last tug you ignored. Say it out loud. If it passes the quiet checks, give it 3 minutes. Star the email so it can't hide. Write the first line before your doubt wakes up. Drop a 3-word calendar seed. Alex 3 headlines. Bridge text sent. Left turn bookshop. Feel how small becomes real the moment it gets a timestamp. If you felt a nudge while watching this, anchor it in the comments with 1 word, the name of your thread, your symbol, your next verb. Bridge, pitch, call. Your word might be the sign someone else needed to move. By the end of these 24 hours, the space between noticing and acting will be shorter than it was yesterday. That's where momentum lives in the half-second you choose the next honest inch. In our final chapter, we'll close the loop track. What unfolded, harvest meaning without superstition, and set the next cycle with less friction and more grace. Ready to land the plane? Night settles like a dimmer switch, and the day exhales. This is where the music doesn't end, it resolves. You sit with your notes, the little card or app you carried, and you let the 24-hour container close as cleanly as it opened. No verdicts, just a quiet harvest. Start by replaying the day once, like a film you're scanning for the scenes that mattered. Where did the markers show up? Names, numbers, symbols. Where did timing help? Where did it hide? Read your 3 columns out loud, not for drama, but for clarity. time and place, what appeared, what moved. Words spoken in your own voice become decisions waiting to happen. Now trim the story to a single line. What's the shortest sentence that captures the pattern? Bridges and 3 kept clustering around co-working. Or 2 Alex queues, but only 1 opened. The email thread carried more flow than the hallway chat. When you can name the pattern without adjectives, you own it. You're not dazzled by it. You can reuse it. This is the moment to honor small hinges. You don't need fireworks. You need to see that a 3-minute pivot changed the feel of a whole hour. Close your eyes for 1 breath and say thank you, but make it specific. Thank you for the timing at the elevator. Thank you for the calm yes before I pressed send. Thank you for the door that didn't open. It saved me a week. Gratitude here isn't a ritual to impress the universe. It's grease for the dial. It keeps tomorrow from grinding. If something didn't move, refuse the drama. Call it data. Maybe the sign was real, but the container was wrong. Maybe you chased a meteor instead of breadcrumbs. You learned the texture of a false yes. That texture will stand out faster tomorrow. Circle it once, then release it like you'd release a balloon you can't use. Look for 1 loop you can physically close before sleep. Maybe it's a reply you owe, a file to send, a calendar seed with 3 honest words. The brain loves endings. Even a tiny completed arc tells your nervous system, we finish what we start. That feeling travels with you into the next cycle. Now choose your next container with mercy. You have 2 good options. Option 1. Repeat the same question for another. 24 hours version 1.1, because momentum is real and your filter is warm. Option 2. Shift the question by 2 degrees. If today was about the smallest step toward X, tomorrow might be who already walks this road and how do I cross paths again? Not a reinvention, just a nudge to the angle of approach. Before you set the sticky note down, run a tiny debrief you'll actually keep. What helped most environment, timing, or language? If language led, sharpen the question. If timing led, widen your nudge windows. If environment led, protect the declutter. And the light, you are not starting over tomorrow. You're iterating. Pilots don't throw away airplanes after 1 flight. They adjust trim and fly again. As the day's soundtrack fades. Notice how different this feels from superstition. You didn't wait for the sky to spell your name. You tuned, you listened. You moved and you tracked. And the world, being full of people and places and patterns, had more to say to a listener than to a scroller. That's not magic. That's attention paired with responsibility. Leave yourself a breadcrumb for morning, a glass of water by the sticky note. The bracelet you only wear on tuned bays, the book you'll pass on the left-hand aisle. A single visible promise. To your future self, we pick up where we left off. Then sleep. Let the metronome slow. When you wake, you won't need a trumpet. You'll touch the note, read the question once, and the dial will find the song a few clicks faster than yesterday. That's what we built, a checklist that becomes a rhythm that becomes a way of moving through the ordinary until the ordinary keeps introducing you to what you meant to find all along. Container closed. Tomorrow is already listening.